What is up? Good mic work. Finally back at you after a longer than usual break. I took a couple of weeks off between videos. I did mention in my last video that I have a lot going on right now in my personal life, and it has really made keeping up with my YouTube channel difficult for the moment. I just have a lot going on, going through a major life transition. Thank you to everyone for all the positive thoughts you've been giving me. Trust me, nothing is wrong. This is not necessarily negative. The only thing that's really happening in my life, without giving you too many details, is that I just have a very busy schedule and I am highly stressed right now. So it is with a heavy heart that I announce the following announcement. I am going to have to put this channel on a brief hiatus after WrestleMania. The schedule for the next few weeks for my commentaries will be as follows. We're going to talk a little bit about what I missed in the past couple of weeks right here, as well as the current card for WrestleMania and storylines and things like that. A few other things. I'm going to come up right before the pay-per-view with a WrestleMania predictions video. Immediately following WrestleMania, I will do a WrestleMania reaction video, and most likely I'll come up after the post-Mania Raw as well. After that, what I'm most likely going to do is just briefly abandon the Good Mic Work channel just for a little while. Call me the Chris Jericho of wrestling commentaries. I'm just going to take a small break to deal with life and focus 100% of my energy on dealing with what I need to deal with in my life and not so much commentaries. And hopefully, it'll just be for a couple of months. I think the longest I will be gone will be SummerSlam. And SummerSlam might actually be a very nice round date to set for myself. That would give me the whole summer off and, just take a few months away from the product and WWE and doing commentaries. I've been going pretty hard for the past 5 years, and, quite frankly, a break might do us all some good. And with the Monday Night Raws that I've been seeing in the past couple of weeks and the build-up for this year's WrestleMania, I'm actually excited for a little bit of a break from pro wrestling, just for a little while. And I'll come back to you around SummerSlam time, fresh and renewed, and hopefully pick this channel up right where it left off. In the meantime, like I said, please stick with me. I know that my subs are going to probably stop climbing quite so high. I had big plans for this channel this year, and I actually kind of still do. At the beginning of the year, I really thought that I was going to double my viewership this year alone, but this recent snag in my life that's caused me to focus, not so much of my energy on the channel is going to put the brakes on that a little bit, but I fully expect to be able to pick things up right where I left off in just a couple of months. And you can always go back and check out some of my other content over the years, if you need your Good Mic Work fix. And I do appreciate everyone's support. You guys have been great. And I know I don't divulge too much information about my personal life, but I just want to once again reassure everybody that have really reached out and said how concerned they are for me. There is no need for concern. I am not sick. I am not dying. This is actually not a bad thing at all. It's just very busy and very stressful, and it doesn't allow my brain much time to worry about shit like WWE and wrestling and commentaries and stuff like that. So you got me for a couple of more weeks, and then I'm going to take off. Unfortunately, some more bad news. This was probably the last Monday Night Raw I'm going to be able to live tweet during for a long time. And incidentally, my social media accounts during this break that I'm going to take, Twitter, Facebook, and all of that, I'm still going to update those regularly. I'm not going to go completely away. If something goes down or if you guys want my opinion on something, please follow me on Twitter and friend me on Facebook, because even though I will not be making commentaries, I will be voicing opinions and saying things from time to time on social media. It's really just the dedication to the YouTube channel that I'm temporarily putting on hold, but you can still follow me and still friend me and keep up with me on all the social media outlets, and I'll always have something to say, especially around pay-per-view times and things like that. But like I said, the rest of my Mondays are booked. Next week, I will not be available for the Go Home WrestleMania edition. I'll actually be in Las Vegas, and I won't even be home for the post-Mania Raw either. And then a mere 3 days after WrestleMania itself, I'll be taking off to Hawaii for a week. So not only do I have a stressful life right now, I've got 2 vacations on the horizon, and shit is just a mess. And it kind of sucks because I really enjoy tweeting live during Raw and things like that. And also, while I'm gone, if I'm home on a Sunday for a pay-per-view or if I'm home on a Monday Night Raw, I will be on Facebook and Twitter, talking during all of that. So hopefully none of that will really change. It's just the commentaries that you're going to get less of for right now. But anyway, enough about that shit. Let's get on to what I was going to talk about. Now, I've missed the last 2 Raws. I did not even see them. I had to go back online, checked on YouTube, checked on a couple of places, and tried to get caught up with the past 2 weeks of Raw. Raw, and I was amazed, or actually not that amazed, but I was just dumbfounded to find that I really didn't miss anything at all. We know what the main event now is for WrestleMania. It's Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Everything has been centered around Roman Reigns and Big Show and Kane and Daniel Bryan and now Randy Orton, since he's made his return at Fastlane, and the Authority and Seth Rollins. It's, just a lot of that going on. A lot of Big Show and Kane. A lot of fucking Big Show and Kane. During WrestleMania time, no less. These guys are featured more than John Cena. It's ridiculous. They have continued to book Roman Reigns very strong. Of course, he's been winning his matches, main eventing Raw, whatnot. The fans, still about the same. Since I last checked, still kind of booing him a little bit, or booing him a lot. Unfortunately, with everything that's going on right now, one thing you can rule out from good mic work is I don't give a fuck about any sort of Roman Reigns debate or how he's used or how he's pushed or anything like that. I honestly don't care. The fans, clearly aren't behind him still. I don't know what the fuck the WWE is going to do if this is actually their main event for WrestleMania. They're just going to ignore this shit just like they did at the Royal Rumble and just go along with it while the fans crap all over it. In the main event of your big show, WrestleMania, you're going to end it that way. So I'm still holding out a little bit of hope that the WWE has a trick up their sleeve. I'm still holding out hope that Brock Lesnar re-signs with the WWE and sticks around and possibly even retains the title. I'm hoping for anything at this point. Not that I'm totally against Roman Reigns being champion, but if he's going to go through and win this match the way we think he's going to win, and everybody can see it coming from 5 miles away, then I don't think it's going to come off very well, and I'm not too terribly excited about this main event. But I'm a glass half full guy, and I think that Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar can have a surprisingly good match. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. Brock Lesnar, that's a whole nother story. He made some waves. Apparently the night after Fastlane, he walked out, had some sort of an argument with Vince McMahon about his contract negotiations, and stormed out of the building. So we don't even know if Brock Lesnar is on good terms with the WWE. And I loved the promo tonight on Monday Night Raw. I was surprised that not many people were talking about it. Maybe we're just so used to having good promos from Paul Heyman, we take them for granted. But I thought this particular promo was very good and a lot better than more of his recent ones. He was extremely passionate. He delivered everything perfectly. He executed the whole thing flawlessly. It was great. And they're starting to make it a shoot. I called this months ago. I even said something to the effect of, if we all think that Brock Lesnar is going to be heading back to the UFC, WWE, they should do something with that. They should turn that into an angle. Brock Lesnar is sitting at home with the WWE title belt, not defending it at all. Finally, somebody's going to have to come out and say, you're holding this belt hostage, you're sitting on your ass, you're doing it for the money, you're not even loyal to the WWE, you're going to try to leave the WWE and go back to the UFC and take this belt with you. Somebody has to stop you. Going in that direction could make things a little bit more interesting, but I think the fans are, they're too hell-bent on hating Roman Reigns to realize how great that is. I think that's a great angle to go. The fact that they mentioned UFC on Monday Night Raw, the fact that they said Brock Lesnar might go back there this summer and take the WWE title with him, that's great shit. That's what CM Punk threatened to do when he beat John Cena at Money in the Bank 4 years ago. He said, I'm going to win that belt and I'm going to leave the WWE with it, and that's exactly what he did. So Brock Lesnar, them adding this twist into the storyline, I guess that's just going to make Roman look all that much greater when he finally beats Brock Lesnar. But if they do pull a swerve on us, maybe this could be a storyline that could be good. I have no idea what is going on with Brock Lesnar internally. I don't know if whatever happened between him and WWE a few weeks ago has been smoothed over. I have no idea what the hell the guy is going to do, but I actually would not be surprised if he stuck around. WWE acknowledged, sort of, the commentators did. I heard Michael Cole saying, social media has been a buzz and Brock Lesnar has been, a high topic of conversation online as far as what he's doing and shit like that. So obviously they're acknowledging the internet reports that said there was some sort of an argument between him and Vince McMahon. And then Paul Heyman cuts a half-shoot promo on Raw and says this motherfucker will do whatever he wants, even if that means taking this belt to the UFC with him, he will fucking do it because he owns the belt. It's not the WWE's belt, it's Brock's belt. Now someone has to come along and take that from him. I love Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. It is the best thing that WWE has going. And I don't give a fuck what they have to pay him or how unfair it is or how many mid-carders' feelings it hurts. Pay this motherfucker as much money as possible to stick around because he's all you got. And I hope to hell something happens and he can win and retain that WWE title at WrestleMania and freak the WWE out, turn him on its ear. Oh my God, is he going to leave? And then Brock Lesnar could go back and sit at home. Imagine that. You know, if he was to beat Roman Reigns or somehow leave WrestleMania with the belt, he could go sit on his ass for 2 months and the whole world could speculate on what's going on. They should totally work everybody. Vince and Brock should set something up, make it sound like they're at odds, stage some sort of fake fucking argument in the back to get the internet talking and make it sound like Brock Lesnar might never come back and the WWE is going to have to crown a new champion. And then have him show back up CM Punk style or something like that. I don't know. That's just part of me that just wishes they would really throw a big swerve at us instead of going in the obvious direction of just crowning Roman Reigns and anointing him as the next guy and the next, quite frankly, John Cena, because that's what it looks like they're doing with him. But at this point, I don't care. You can't ask for every WrestleMania to be great, and last year was so good. This year just doesn't have that same feel. I'm looking at the card. The card is pretty much set. I've got about 8 matches written down. It doesn't necessarily look horrible, but when you compare it to last year and the emotion and the wonderful story of Daniel Bryan and his rise to the top and the ending of the Undertaker's streak and the Hall of Fame with the Ultimate Warrior and everything that happened with him and passing away and that little kid, that poor sick kid Connor that got to experience the whole WrestleMania, experience live, sat in the front row, got to hug his idol Daniel Bryan, watch him win the title, and then died like 3 weeks later. I mean, the whole show was centered around such emotion and everything. I don't think they're going to come anywhere close to duplicating that this year. And I think at the end of the day, without trying to prejudge things, I think we're looking at a mediocre show. I don't think the pay-per-view is going to be horrible. I don't think it's going to be WrestleMania 27 or WrestleMania 29 horrible, but I don't think it's going to be great like WrestleMania 30. But we'll get into WrestleMania more here in just a little bit. Daniel Bryan is down the other side of this coin. He was the one that lost the match to Roman Reigns at Fastlane and lost his opportunity to main event WrestleMania, and now what the fuck does he do? It looks like he's been thrown in the middle of this Intercontinental title ladder match, which I just don't get. I guess what they've been doing recently on Monday Night Raw is they've been playing hot potato with the belt. Each guy is taking turns stealing it. Bad News Barrett is the official Intercontinental champion, but everybody is taking the belt and running away with it. I think R-Truth had it last as of this past Monday Night's Raw. Wade Barrett actually came out and tried to steal it from him, but stole a toy belt instead, and R-Truth, I guess, has the actual belt. So that's the storyline they're using to put all of these guys in a big match, and I think I called this too. I think when Ambrose and Barrett first started their feud, I said, after this match, it could lead to a multi-man IC match at WrestleMania, 4-way or 3-way or whatever. So they're doing a 6-man ladder match here, and Daniel Bryan has been involved in all these matches in this Intercontinental title thievery in the past couple of weeks. So it looks like, even though he's not officially announced for the match yet, it looks like he will be put in the match, and that's just such a huge letdown. I'm not sure what's going on in the WWE. I even mentioned last time about a possible Daniel Bryan heel turn. If he's not going to be in the main event and he's not going to be in a singles match, would he win the Intercontinental title? Would they put him in that match with all those guys and not have him win? I think he could win a memorable ladder match at WrestleMania, have another moment, win the Intercontinental title this year after winning the world title last year. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but does Daniel Bryan need the Intercontinental title? I'd like to see Dean Ambrose get a crack at that thing. Wade Barrett is a fine Intercontinental champion. Wouldn't mind Dolph Ziggler getting that title back either. So there's lots of guys I'd be just fine with winning the Intercontinental title. It doesn't have to be Daniel Bryan. So unless he were to win the match, I think Daniel Bryan is pretty much a non-factor in this year's WrestleMania. He's either, going to win and have a fairly nice moment, maybe even a match that opens the show. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Or he cannot even win the match and be completely forgotten. And the final spot that's still open, Sheamus is returning, so maybe they could insert him in there and Daniel Bryan still has a chance to have a singles match at WrestleMania. So maybe that's still to be determined, but as it looks right now, he's going to be heading into that Intercontinental ladder match. Most of Monday Night Raw also was centered around Randy Orton and the Authority, which was really annoying me. And by the way, I know I'm skipping all over the place, but my brain's a big pile of liquid shit right now, so my commentaries are going to be a little scattered. But Randy Orton, after he came back at Fastlane, it was almost as if he reunited with the Authority after a series of promos and Stephanie interviews and shit like that. Randy Orton, you can tell he's just going along with everything. He's obviously setting them up. He had some tag matches with Seth Rollins in previous weeks. He saved his ass on one occasion or something like that. So the Authority thinks they have Randy Orton right back in the mix, but it's just so stupid because it's just obvious they're killing time. They have all this time to build for Randy Orton and Seth Rollins. They thought they would put Randy Orton back in the Authority just so he can turn on Seth Rollins again. We know he wants Seth Rollins' head on a stick. Seth Rollins curb stomped him through a pile of fucking cinder blocks. A guy like the Viper, Randy Orton, this heartless this ruthless, venomous monster is not going to let that shit go. So eventually he's going to turn on Seth Rollins. Finally, they did that tonight. He absolutely beat the shit out of Seth Rollins very, very viciously. I actually liked the brawl because Randy Orton was acting as a heel on a really big heel in the business right now. Seth Rollins is a huge douchebag heel, and Randy Orton was just punking him out like he was a helpless babyface. It was great. I like seeing that side of Randy Orton, and I would not be surprised at all if this match is your best match at WrestleMania. Seriously, I mean that. A lot of people are tired of Randy Orton because he's been around for 10 years, but he's a pretty good athlete. I think he works well with Seth Rollins, and the two of them, I think, are going to have one hell of a match. And it's also possible that there is time to add a gimmick to this because this is a pretty heated rivalry that dates back several months. A lot of violence involved. You know, Randy Orton was on the shelf due to Seth Rollins' hands, and now Randy Orton viciously beat Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw. You would think this match could be in a cage or a cell or something like that. No holds barred, last man standing, something like that. I wouldn't be surprised at all if something like that took place at WrestleMania. If it does not, it'll take place at the pay-per-view after. But I thought it was so silly the way they took the long way, you know, to let us know about Randy Orton and Seth Rollins. We knew that before Randy Orton ever came back, that when he did come back, he was going to go after Seth Rollins. They were probably going to have a WrestleMania match, and they have to string us along and bullshit us. You know, if a 5-year-old can see that Randy Orton is setting up the Authority, how does that make Seth Rollins' character look? He looks like a fucking dumbass. Can he not see that Randy Orton is not to be trusted, and he better watch his back because Randy Orton is going to kick his ass very soon? Did he not see this coming? Helen Keller could have seen that coming. What the fuck is the matter with this guy? So to me, it was just a little bit annoying, but hey, at least the match is basically set now. I don't know if they've announced it on TV. If not, they will next week. And I'm hopeful for the match. As far as an in-ring show, this might be our best chance of getting it is between these two guys at WrestleMania. We also saw on Raw, John Cena was finally able to convince Rusev to grant him a match at WrestleMania for the United States title, and he was able to do that by coming out there and beating the shit out of Rusev and putting him in the STF and having Lana say, okay, just let him go. We'll give you the match. Just let him go. So that's how Cena got the match. I don't think it was a big deal. I mean, Rusev left Cena unconscious laying in the middle of the ring at Fastlane. You know, is it really that hard to believe that Cena would come out on Raw and kick his ass a week here or there? That's the way storylines go. One week, one guy gets the better of it. The other week, the other guy gets his revenge. It's just back and forth. Don't worry. Next week, Rusev will be so pissed that John Cena got his match that he'll beat the shit out of John Cena and leave him laying in the middle of the ring. So don't scream burying because the same thing will probably happen to John Cena leading up to WrestleMania. As far as the match, I got a feeling that U.S. belt is going to be spinning again, guys. I hate to say it, but most likely it will. But I don't care. You know, I don't give a shit about John Cena. Any mid-card version of John Cena is fine with me. Keep that guy out of the main events. Keep him from winning 25 world titles per year, and I'm fine. If he wants to hold the U.S. belt again, fuck it. Let him. What the hell do you care? Rusev has been on a hell of a run. If he loses at WrestleMania to John Cena, it's not going to do him a bit of harm. He already beat John Cena once. He's on a big stage, the big show, against WWE's poster boy, you know, for an enormous payday on a high-profile match. Win, lose, or draw, Rusev is elevated. And he's been on such a hot streak, eventually he's going to have to lose. Someone is going to have to beat him. And it's not like he's losing to a jobber. He's losing to John Cena. He's losing to Superman, the guy that never loses. You can't blame Rusev for losing to the guy that never loses. It shouldn't hurt Rusev at all. I have no problem with the feud. I think it would be kind of weird and fun in a way to see John Cena hold the U.S. title again. I know a lot of people puke at that idea, but I don't fucking care. I don't puke at it. Go ahead, hold the U.S. title. Other than that, the only other major thing that took place on Monday Night Raw, besides a whole bunch of bullshit, is that Bray Wyatt came out with an urn and all the bullshit and the smoke and fog and trying to call out The Undertaker, trying to resurrect him. Finally, the lights go out. Undertaker's music hits. No Undertaker, just a lot of special effects and lightning and a burning rocking chair. At the end of the day, Undertaker accepts Bray Wyatt's challenge, and we're going to get Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Wow. I can't believe after last year The Undertaker's going to come back and actually work a match. I don't know what they're going to do as far as now, between now and WrestleMania. I have a feeling Undertaker is not going to appear until WrestleMania. I think that would be the best way to do it. Keep him off TV completely. That way we can all see what he looks like now together at once at WrestleMania. And I'll have to do some more thinking on my prediction for a winner, and I will do a predictions video like I said, and I'll give you my thoughts on that match. But my early prediction is I want Bray Wyatt to win. Like I said, why the fuck not? At this point, the streak is dead. It's not going to get any deader, so why not put a couple guys over on your way out? I want them to lose this year and probably next year too, and then retire. Once the streak died, in my mind, that sealed it. At this point, it doesn't matter how many more he loses. So I'm still going to pick Bray right now unless I change my mind come the predictions video. And I think the match will be better too. I think the match will be better than last year with Brock Lesnar because Bray's a guy that can move around a little bit more, sell a little bit more for The Undertaker, and I think the match is going to be good. I'm not going to get into anything else on Raw because it was just such the same old shit. As far as the last couple of Raws, what I missed, I didn't miss much. The Jon Stewart shit I didn't get into. That was kind of cool. I'm a huge Daily Show fan. I love the Colbert Report as well. I cannot believe we're going to lose both shows in 1 year alone. That's amazing, and it sucks fucking dick, and I hate it, but it was cool to see Jon Stewart involved, in a little storyline with Seth Rollins. It was kind of funny. I liked the first promo he cut, Jon Stewart, when he first shot back at Seth Rollins. That was pretty funny. And then they did the Daily Show segment, I think last week on Raw or the week before. I did watch some of that. It was okay, sort of funny. It was just a nice celebrity rub. I usually hate guest hosts and all the stupid celebrities they bring on there, but Jon Stewart, that's a pretty big one. He's a pretty mainstream guy, so it was really cool to see him out there, shamelessly. He's not fucking embarrassed that he likes wrestling or he wants to be involved in it. He's like, fuck anyone who thinks that. It looked like the guy had a blast out there. I was happy to see him get involved for a couple of weeks, and it was a funny little exchange between Seth Rollins and Jon Stewart. Looks like things have blown over pretty much with Seth Rollins as far as his dick pic goes. Doesn't seem like he's any worse for the wear for it. He is still the Money in the Bank champion, don't forget that. And there's the chance that he could cash in at WrestleMania. I don't see WrestleMania ending in a cash-in. I don't see WrestleMania ending in a big swerve or a big surprise. That's why I think Roman Reigns is probably going to win. But if the WWE wanted to go in that direction and really mind-fuck the fans, they could have Seth Rollins cash in on Roman Reigns to close the show and win the WWE title. Could you imagine the big authority celebration the night after on Monday Night Raw? It would be huge heel heat, especially if Brock Lesnar is going to be taking off and not coming back. Seth Rollins could fit into that role, of being a guy that has a good amount of heat because he would in a situation like that. A lot of people also wanted me to comment on the Bill DeMott situation. I've read a little bit about this story. I know that a developmental guy did accuse him of bullying him and being really hard on him and being an asshole and saying racial slurs and everything like that. A lot of you want my opinions on it, and my opinion is I'm not surprised at all. I've always thought that Bill DeMott was a dick. He seemed like one. We've heard stories like this before. It's not like this is the first accusation he's ever had. People have come out in the past and accused him of being this way, and a lot of people now are coming out of the woodwork now that he has had to resign of saying, yes, finally, this piece of shit should have been fired a long time ago. You don't just get that many people that are that vindictive. You might have one person here or there that might hold a grudge against a coach for being hard on him or being an asshole or something like that. But to get a bunch of people in that same line of thinking, no way. There's very much a lot of truth to these stories. I don't doubt them for a minute. A lot of people come to the defense of a guy like DeMott and say it's a new generation now. A lot of people say, athletes are pussies. They can't handle a tongue lashing. I just think it's the fact that the times are changing. And back in the day, you could get away with shit like that. When I played sports in high school, I think back to those days, I cannot believe some of the shit that I remember those coaches saying. If anybody talked to me like that in real life, the way those coaches talked to me back then, that person would be dead. Most likely due to injury suffered by a baseball bat to the face. I don't think it's cool to use racial and homophobic slurs, which you hear in locker rooms all the time. I don't doubt for a second that this big fat fucking bully pushed these kids around and preyed on their willingness to go along with anything because they are there accomplishing their dream. They are living their dream, their chance to be a WWE superstar, something that they probably dreamt of since they were a little kid. And they don't want to speak up and they're too scared to defend themselves because it might, affect their position in the company or their chance to get an opportunity and all of that. So the fact that you have all these people saying these things about this guy, even though I haven't read that far into the story, I'm inclined to believe these stories at this point. A lot of people today are oversensitive. Some people are more sensitive to things than others. others, but regardless of your sensitivity level, you should never use racial or homophobic slurs anywhere. The word faggot is used way too often in a locker room. I used to hear it when I was younger. I think it still exists now. And the word is still used as an insult, as a weak person or something like that. And I think Hugh Morris or Bill DeMott is of that mentality. He came from that old school when things like that were said to you and it was fine. A lot of those guys like DeMott and a lot of the older wrestlers who were trained by guys that were far more barbaric than anything today. But the times have changed, the culture has changed, and the type of people we are has changed. And I think it's fine to push and drive your students. I think it's fine to motivate them and be hard on them and let them know when they need to get better, when they fuck up, or punish them and discipline them when necessary. All of that is fine, but you can leave out the hate speech and the racial and homophobic bullshit, because that makes you look weak and it makes you sound like an ignorant person. And anytime I hear anything like this, it pisses me off. I don't doubt it for a second. This guy has always seemed like an asshole, and the fact that it turns out that he is one doesn't surprise me at all, and I'm glad he lost his job. Now, with that being said, full disclosure, if all of this shit and the dust settles and it turns out that Bill DeMott is completely innocent, then forget everything I just said, and Bill DeMott, I sincerely apologize. But I don't think that's going to happen. So moving on to WrestleMania before I sound off here, here's what we have for the card right now. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the WWE title. Triple H versus Sting, which I haven't talked much about. They had their confrontation at Fastlane. All we've gotten since then is a couple of promos and some Sting video packages. I did like the segment where Triple H fired Booker T just to, show off his power, I guess, because Booker T does have a history with Sting in WCW. The storyline, I guess, is that Sting is getting revenge for WCW. I don't care. Just to see Sting in the ring with Triple H is going to be pretty cool. Although, The Undertaker is wrestling on this same card. We never thought we would get to see a Sting-Undertaker match because it would just never happen. These guys would never be in the same place at the same time. Here they are, and they're having separate matches. Put Bray Wyatt with Triple H and give Sting and Undertaker a match. That would be something, especially with the one loss by The Undertaker now. That would really leave up for debate who would win. I just thought of that. I was always anti-Undertaker Sting. I didn't really want to see the match, but now that I realize that it would have been possible if they just would have booked the matches differently, I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. I might actually prefer it. But anyway, I'm off track. Triple H versus Sting is what we're going to get there. John Cena, of course, versus Rusev for the United States title. We got the 6-man Intercontinental title ladder match. There's the Andre the Giant Battle Royal as well. They're doing again. I would have preferred if that was a one-year only thing just to commemorate WrestleMania 30 and what a big show that was. I'm a little disappointed, to be honest with you, that they're doing it again, because the winner of the Battle Royal obviously meant nothing. Cesaro had lost his push just a few weeks after that match took place. So the significance of the Battle Royal pretty much means nothing. But they're going to go ahead and do that again this year, as well as Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton. AJ Lee and Paige versus the Bellas. Isn't that a match they just do on Raw like every week? And of course, Undertaker and Bray Wyatt. Or did I mention that one already? So that is, I believe, 8 matches. I don't know if there's anything left to announce. Maybe one more tag team title match, I guess. I wouldn't be surprised if that's another multi-man match or a 4 or 5-man or 5-team match or some shit like that. They're probably going to throw a whole bunch of teams in there and have them all scramble for the title, which I guess in a way is good. Get as many roster members involved in WrestleMania, give them that moment, give them that feeling. But the matches this year just don't have a whole lot of story behind them other than your top 3 matches. Also, the Hall of Fame. I have not talked much about the Hall of Fame, but as it stands right now, we have Randy Savage headlining the show. The Bushwhackers of all teams are going in. I guess I'm okay with that. Was never a huge Bushwhacker fan. They never even won the belts. They were glorified jobbers. But it's that Coco Beware rule. If Coco's in, the Bushwhackers can be in. And a surprising twist, Alundra Blaze, fucking Medusa, is going into the WWE Hall of Fame. You talk about burying all hatchets possible. That's one that shocked me. I think Medusa does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I love her. I'm a huge fan of hers. But what she did was fucked up during those Monday Night Wars. I don't care how meaningless that WWE Women's title was. She dumped it in the fucking trash can. I guess the WWE forgave her for that and understood that it was Bischoff pushing her to do it. And if he's paying her and he says, you either do this or you're fired, obviously she has to do it. But that was WWE's property. She dumped in the trash. I thought that would blacklist her forever from the WWE, but that was a long time ago. That was almost 20 years ago. 19 years ago, I believe, is when she did that. But time heals all wounds, and WWE is ready to honor Medusa's contributions to the wrestling business, and I think that's great. I'm glad she's going in. We're also getting Rikishi that was announced a couple of weeks ago. I like that. I'm fine with it. Arnold Schwarzenegger going into the celebrity wing. I guess he's done a couple of things with WWE from time to time, and Drew Carey is in the celebrity wing, so why not Arnold? I think Arnold's an idiot, but whatever. He's a big name, and it'll be good publicity for the WWE. And the only other rumored name that I've heard that I would love to see is Kevin Nash. He has not been announced yet. I hope that he is. I think he would be an awesome addition to this year's Hall of Fame. I'd love to hear a Kevin Nash speech, and you need to have a good one, because as of right now, all the people that are going in, Randy Savage isn't even going to be there because he's dead. It's going to be Lanny Poffo most likely accepting on his behalf. So you need a good, memorable speech, and I think Kevin Nash can deliver that speech to us. So I'll keep my fingers crossed that Big Sexy will be the next inductee, but that's just me. That's just rumors. I don't even know if I'm right. So basically, that is it. I'm going to sign off. Like I said, I'm sorry if I'm leaving anything out. There's some other things I know people wanted me to talk about. I know Rey Mysterio's gone from WWE. They finally released him. He's on to go do other things. Good for him. I'm glad he's away from them, and I wish him all the best. I did hear a few of Chyna's rants on Triple H and Stephanie and her abuse allegations. She's a fucking idiot. I'm not going to give her any more of my time or address that psycho in any way, shape, or form. She's full of shit. Don't believe anything that comes out of those gates of hell that she calls a mouth. Again, I just want to thank everyone out there for your support. I will be back up here probably a week before WrestleMania, and I'll give my full predictions for the show, and I will be up here with reactions and all of the fallout through WrestleMania. You'll at least get me through that, and then Good Mic Work is going to take a little bit of a break. It's just something I need to do. So love each and every one of you. Thanks so much again for listening and sticking with me through all these years, and hopefully there will be many, many more years to come after my little brief hiatus. So until next time, peace.